Welcome to the Leftover Rewatch, episode 4, Orange Sticker, right? That's the title of it, Orange Sticker.
Yep.
How's it going, guys?
Excellent.
Great.
Is it hot where everybody else is at? I think it's hot across the nation, isn't it?
It's getting there.
It's the humidity, though. I can handle the dry heat
Yeah.
of California. It's the humidity.
Yeah, it's getting pretty gross out there.
It's nasty.
Yep.
And I need a shower. Let's just put that out there right away. But anyway, I think we had a fantastic episode.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Great acting. But it starts with the earth starts shaking. And then, of course, Nora calls out for Kevin. Where's Kevin? Kevin's not there.
Yep.
Yeah. Worst fear.
Yeah. So now we know that it's taking place two episodes ago? Where Kevin wakes up in the drain pond. The magic water.
Yeah, after a week of off-ramp where they're catching us back up.
Yeah. And then the kitchen faucet is leaking. She didn't turn off the water, though, right? She just tied a rag around it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
Something
so.
like that.
In the future, Nora, go underneath the cabinet. There's you can just turn off the water right there. And it should, but knowing Nora's luck, it'd probably break off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there'd be a bigger mess. Nora calls Kevin's phone, no answer. Michael and John are driving away. Talks to Erica, and Erica goes, Evie's gone.
And so are friends.
So are her friends.
Yeah.
So at this point, what are we thinking?
Well, we know what Nora's thinking. She's thinking the worst.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's thinking, I paid $3 million for this?
She's not even thinking about the money, Jack. Only you would.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I would. That'd be my first thought. Wait, I paid $3 million for this? Where's my guarantee?
Jack would have been thinking, I should have bought that departure insurance from that shady company.
Exactly.
In the prior episode.
at least I would have got some money back. Now I own a piece of crap house that I paid $3 million for that nobody is going to buy, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so Kevin is gone. Evie is gone. She sees a dog run.
Yes.
Person holding a leash.
Yeah.
And then she comes in and man, she falls hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was that a panic attack?
Absolutely.
Totally.
But I like that Ethan hammered home the issue of the dogs. Now I have a question. Is that their dog?
It looks like it, but I don't think it is.
It looks like it hasn't been 60 days.
Right.
Unless-
It
oh,
should
that's
still
right.
be in
Exactly.
quarantine.
In quarantine, right?
Unless Patty let him out.
Right.
Because
She's going to stay there.
I think they would have gotten the same point across with like a different dog.
Yeah, but it was great because the whole notion of they hammered home in season 1 all the dogs that lost their masters, right? Owners, right?
Yeah.
Right. And again, that's what Nora's thinking. Oh, great. There's a dog. I paid $3 million for this crap house.
No, she didn't think about how much she paid for the house.
The money. Okay, I'm going to bring up money later, but it's not has anything to do with the money.
Yeah.
I think deep down that's why she had a panic attack. She was
No, I
thinking,
disagree.
No, not
Minus
at
10
all.
points for Jack. Are we
Yeah.
all in agreement?
I
hit the
think
showers.
that's her worst fear is losing people again.
Right.
And she just has this makeshift new family and she doesn't want them to go anywhere. And so when that happened, I feel like everything came rushing back for her.
And I'll add something to this too. She was told earlier in the season that by these scientists that they think it's based on geography, right?
Right.
But I have to think that on some level she thinks it has to do with the people who don't depart are the ones that are cursed, that cause their loved ones to depart, right? So that like there's almost like on some subconscious level she must feel that way. So that whole like scene on some level must have been her thinking like, oh my God, am I causing people in my proximity to depart? Like it's maybe not so much the location on Earth, but the relative location to someone like me.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
and that definitely gets talked about in like 2 episodes, like a lot.
Spoiler. Anyway, all right, you're joining me with the minus 10 points.
No, I'm not, and here's why. Because I have something interesting to say.
It better be, because now you've declared it's going to be interesting. And it's not.
No,
you're gonna lose 20 points.
I'm watching this with the wife. I'm doing the wife watch as I do every week, and I'm like, why is Jill sleeping through this earthquake? How is this possible?
Mm-hmm.
And
She's happy.
So at peace, though. That's what they're
my
trying
wife
to
was just
say.
like, my wife was just like, when I was 12, I went to California and I slept through a 6.1 earthquake. Me and my sister both slept through the whole thing. While my aunt was deciding whether to wake us up or not, it ended and we slept through it.
I slept through several earthquakes living in California.
Yeah.
Did you go the one in 2014? It was like during Paley Fest, the lost 10th anniversary in 2014. We went, and there's
hurricanes.
There's an earthquake there, and I didn't feel it at all.
It depends on where you're at. It depends on too if it's a rolling one or a jerking one.
It woke Luke up, but I slept through it.
The jerking ones are the ones that wake me up. The ones where it's going back and forth like that. The rolling ones, I'm just thinking I'm getting a massage or something. It just,
I live in a place where that's an option. Anyway, there was one in Maryland when I was working at Guitar Center, and I saw, it was very small, but I saw all the guitars on the wall like go in the same direction. It was
that like 11 years ago or something like that?
Maybe.
I was awake and didn't feel it because Jay comes up and goes, hey, whenever, it must have been longer because he was still living here. He goes, did you feel that? I go, no. He goes, earthquake.
No, I just heard your annoying voice.
It was literally like 10 or 11 years ago. It was literally 10 or 11 years
I thought you were playing music. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was a big deal out here.
But I did like how Nora took the baby and just put it in a moving box.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I think you can. Anyone who's had a panic attack, you know it's coming on, right?
Right, and the earthquake just happened, so that's kind of a safe space, isolated, you know.
Because nothing's safer than a cardboard box when the house is falling on top of you. That's where I always hid when there was an earthquake. I get the cardboard box.
That's why they told kids to
all in the negative at this point.
That's why they tell their kids to get under their desks in the case of a nuclear bomb, right?
Duck and cover. I was
really
part of that. I was part of that crowd. I knew how to duck and cover. I was safe.
Tornadoes. Hold the book over your head in the hallway. Tornadoes is the big thing here.
The teacher would even tell us, if the bomb goes off, we have to protect ourselves. You know, I'm like 5 and 6 years old. Why are you telling me this? Why?
Yeah.
And because it's the leftovers, I'll chime in with today. My kid has to do active shooter drills. Anyway.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's sad.
Really sad.
I guess looking back, I'd rather do duck and cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though I remember one teacher saying, San Diego's a top target. Why are you telling a 5-year-old, 6-year-old this? Why?
I can't always like you're right near DC.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to be somewhere like in Alabama.
No.
So, but I thought Nora did. I think she realized she was going to pass out, and she did put the baby. You know, at least it couldn't. Well, it's not crawling now anyway, is it?
Well, they don't have any other furniture.
She is not crawling yet, Jack.
Right. So when she wakes up, she gets out the TV and tries to get on the. I thought maybe she was wanting to watch the news, see what breaking news. Then she tries to get on the internet. Now I realize what she's trying to do. I said, "Oh, she thinks it's another departure."
Yeah.
It took me a while.
Really?
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's another negative 5 points for you.
I just thought she was. You know, I was a little tired today. Didn't sleep much last night. Then Nora calls 911, asks if it happened again, and Lady's like going, "What's your emergency? She wasn't very nice, was she?
Neither was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I thought the 911 operator was probably like, yes, it was an earthquake.
Yeah.
But evidently the operator wasn't anticipating people to ask if there was another departure.
Well, especially in Miracle.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But some 911 operators can be snippy. Can we
Wouldn't
just say that?
It's a
Yeah.
high stress.
Not all of them, but I've had,
Anybody in the world can be snippy at any time.
well,
Bruce Willis calls you on
deep.
Christmas, though.
It's
He's
real
not
deep.
ordering pizza.
who?
If Bruce Willis calls you on Christmas, he's not ordering pizza.
Yippee ki yay! I never get snippy though. All right, I lose another 10 points.
Talk to us in an hour.
Kevin returns and she hugs and they're all happy, and then she just kind of goes, "All right."
Yeah, that was an amazing scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's almost like first of all you can see her fatigue, but also she realizes, oh no, what is this nonsense with him sleepwalking, right? Like it's kind of like, I'm glad he didn't depart, but I still have to deal with this nonsense.
Yeah, because she doesn't know why he's doing it.
Right. It's like you could, literally see the weight lifted off her shoulders, or the burden, that she was carrying when she experienced this. And then he arrives and it's like she just understands that, okay, he's here. But then, like you said, she is going to have to deal with whatever's going on with him. Where was he? How could he do this to me?
Right. Because the stress is like, I can't deal with this.
Right. Like, how could she?
And I don't blame her.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would be thinking, how can you do this to me knowing all the people I lost? You know what I mean? Like, how can you just go missing?
Especially when you're woken up. I mean, when an earthquake does wake you up, it is a scary thing.
And you want to turn to your, significant other and let's get through this, together.
And I don't think they had experienced an earthquake, right? This was the first night they were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Second night.
Second night, but they hadn't experienced an earthquake yet, had they?
Right.
No, wasn't it the
first
night?
I thought it was the first
night because they have the birthday.
Well,
party.
the first night they're at Matt's tent.
Oh, true.
Second night in the house.
In their house.
Yeah.
We knew better than to question Ethan. What were we doing?
I wasn't questioning him.
Jack, we need minus all around. Except for Ethan.
This should be one of these where Ethan gets pluses and you guys get minuses.
Yeah.
It should be, but I'm not that generous tonight. But I like how Patty goes, because Nora walks away. She goes, "You got some explaining to do, sport."
Yeah.
I just love her cockiness, her sarcastic, and it's funny that Kevin is hearing Patty at her snarky, because he knows her. He knows who she is.
But this is the thing about it. So we're doing rewatch here, so we know the full arc of Patty. The first time we watch this, we really don't know what this is supposed to be, right? Because, we don't know how much of this is real, magical, whatever. This time, as we're watching it, spoiler alert, I'm just thinking about it as subconsciousness, right? So it really is like he's synthesizing whatever he heard from Lori with whatever he imagines from that.
Right.
And it's like basically the devil on the shoulder, right?
Right.
From the cartoons, right? So the devil on the shoulder from the cartoons from his childhood would always make these, wisecracks, right?
Yeah.
But it's amazing how early they're setting this stuff up that took me rewatches to get.
Mm-hmm.
That you see all right now. They give you this explanation in this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was great. But then Kevin asked Nora, "Have you seen my phone?" Probably not. But then he tells Nora and Jill exactly what happened. So at least he's being honest about it.
What I like about this is when he talks about this stuff, which would be like deeply, it's obviously deeply troubling and deeply embarrassing for most people. It's almost like he's kind of come to the conclusion that the best way to share this is almost like as if he's on the witness stand and he's being deposed. Because the tone that he uses is like almost like, somebody who's being deposed.
Well, I think he knows that Nora's not happy with him.
That too.
Yeah, he has to explain it. But then he leaves out the part about Patty, which is a crucial element.
Right.
And the cinder block.
And well, I think at this point he's being as honest as he can. He doesn't want to lose Nora, right? I mean,
yeah, he doesn't want to lose her just as much as she doesn't want to lose anyone else.
Right. So, And then there's a knock on the door, and Kevin's like, and they're forming a search party, and Nora comes along, and they take the truck.
Well, can we go back for a second? Just because it's very
do whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. It's my show. I understand.
Crazy Ethan.
Oh, you're way.
And now he lost his thought.
It's really easy to see. It's really quickly to see how quickly Nora moves into crisis mode.
Yeah.
She's got answers for everything right away. We find out in this episode she was a fraud investigator anyway. We find that out later. And she turns it on like 100% right here. Kevin can barely function, but she's like, you need to go to the place, you need to look for your phone. We got to pretend like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
He goes, wow, I never would have thought of that.
She's still trying to protect him.
And what's amazing is, remember, he was like, his career was, he was a police officer. So he should actually know how to handle these stuff from the other side, right? But he can't function.
He can't function at all.
And it's like, I was thinking about exactly what Ethan said, before I did my rewatch this afternoon, that she has this is the reason why we all love her so much, because she is probably, she embodies, a few different qualities that you usually don't find together. She's empathetic to Kevin's situation. She can operate under pressure, right? And then she's also really funny, right? So that's why, like, she's just such a likable character all around.
There's actually a piece of the script that wasn't used, but Jack, how they used to send you those pieces of script, like a paragraph before. Can I redo this one thing that was in there? But what didn't make it in the episode?
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot they used to do that.
After Nora questions the story, Kevin intends to tell about waking up right where the girls disappeared from. She continues, and then you're going to ask if this has ever happened before, and you'll say, "Yup," and they'll say, how did that turn out? And you'll say, well, I abducted a woman, tied her up in a cabin, then she killed herself right in front of me, so it didn't turn out great. Kevin asks, you think I had something to do with this? Nora responds, no, Kevin, hiding wasn't stupid, it was smart. So that's the context.
So Kevin was smart.
Well, they didn't want him to seem too smart. They cut it out of the show, but I think it's there.
But yeah, I mean, it really is impressive that given the night that she had, and that we saw that she literally collapsed on the floor because she had a panic attack, that then she just pulls it together for the entire family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her panic mode is not her panic mode, but her crisis mode is very impressive. Yeah.
Is what, Ethan? I'm sorry.
It was impressive.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like Juliet's. She gets stuff done.
Yeah. I think Nora's a better cook, right?
Why?
Did you say cook or something else?
Why?
Juliet burns stuff.
Because Juliet burns everything.
Yeah.
Oh, when you're stressed and kidnapped and forced against your will.
We digress.
She had a beautiful salad and Merlot and pasta fixed for Sawyer later. So that's all I gotta say.
All right, moving on.
You don't have to cook any of those things, by the way. All right, let's go.
if she burns a salad, I'm done. I mean,
all right.
Fine.
They're at the drown pond. Kevin sees his handprint on the car. He remembers, uh-oh. Now, I would have made an excuse to go over there to the car and just kind of walked over there and kind of smeared my hand or put my hand up there to say, oh, that was my palm print was there before.
Or just
pull already roped off,
the window and,
It was already roped off. That was one part where they were taking pictures and pictures were being taken already. And it's like,
there, you walk backwards like you're not paying attention, and I'm tripping, right? Of course, that leads more drama down the line with the palm print.
Yeah, and if you don't fall and smear it perfectly like Titanic, it's not gonna try to recreate that. It's not gonna. It's gonna be difficult.
Are the townspeople?
What really struck me was the shot that when Kevin and Nora approached the pond, the lake, that massive like shot of the whole scene, pretty breathtaking.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was this episode was. I mean, it's always well filmed and stuff, but yeah, it was done really well. Let's see. But then we see Matt praying with a bunch of townspeople. 92161. We were all spared. Neener.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
yeah.
screw
yeah.
you. We're better than you. They saved us. They didn't save you.
Wow. Yeah.
But why is Matt? Matt wasn't there.
Well,
I know he's a spiritual leader, but
He's coming in to help lead the flock and
Yeah, he's just
out where he can.
he's just leading the prayer.
Matt's just a wannabe, right? He just wants to be part of the group.
Well, he wants to be some sort of a biblical figure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
He
guess
has
that-
the ego thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael fixes the sink. Yeah.
Well, in the prayer circle that Matt was doing, Nora walked up to it, and
right.
she kind of like holds their hand for a minute and looks around, and then just kind of rolls her eyes and leaves. And I think that's very important because I'll explain later. Part 1.
Okay.
Sorry, that's going to circle back to something.
In the scene with Michael and Jill has no chill. She's thirsty, and she lets it be known that she's thirsty. And she,
Look at you with a hip term.
with the hip term thirsty, you know what it means.
I do.
Yeah.
It took me a long time, but
There was
It took a
a
while.
lot of sexual tension.
She
there.
wanted a tall glass of water.
No, there's no sexual tension from him at all.
No,
It's
because
Oh, well,
you know.
But
Well.
she's just like, hey, little girl, is your daddy home? She's all crazy about it.
Yeah.
It's you had way too much fun describing like a potential sexually charged scene between two high school students there, Ethan.
But it's palpable, and it comes to play later that Michael is not into her like in it. He's
when
just not,
yes.
he's
Yes.
just not that into you.
Maybe when they go off to college, maybe, I guess.
And I'm laughing because I remember in season 1 how much I was the first episode how I referred to that guy as Jay. Moving on.
Michael says, "My sister is gone."
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he thinks she's departed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jill, go ahead.
It's an interesting issue because it's like obviously there's nothing in their faith that talks about like specific to the departure, right? But to me, I read this as there's obviously something happened here, obviously, right? And for him, the most logical explanation is that God took his twin, right?
Right.
And so that he must see like the entire departure as a purely religious event, right?
Well, she was born 2 months earlier than him.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he was thinking something there, too, because they make a big deal. Well, not a big deal, but they let everyone know about that. But then they were talking about, doesn't he say to her, you don't believe, right? Something like that, like you're not a believer in God and all that stuff. Because then Jill says at the end, well, thanks for saving me. So I think that was her way of being sarcastic back. What do you think?
So I messaged y'all before the show, and I was 15 minutes in doing my rewatch, and this is probably the most I'll talk this whole show, but I feel like this scene is really important. Like you said, she says, "Thanks for saving me."
Right.
And that's what I think the most important line is of this episode, other than the one I shared promoting it on Facebook. But I feel like it's extremely important. And it goes back to that scene I was talking about earlier with Nora. She decides to leave the group circle because I think Nora is one of those people who realizes that standing around, praying or whatever, that's not helping. She's going out there to try to find the girl. She's like,
Right.
Why are we standing here? Let me go.
Right.
So in the terms of Jill in this conversation here, he's basically saying, let's see. 100%. Michael says that when he talks about this to people who don't believe in God, they look at him like he's crazy.
Mhm.
And then there's, this back and forth energy between them. And she says, "Thanks for saving me," which is really important because she says nothing about the religious aspect. But she then says, "Thanks for saving me." And I feel like this is the core, one of the big core parts of this show that people really need to understand is that, and I think it's something that Jill recognized, which is she's trying to say to him, your actions helped me.
Right.
Mhm.
Because earlier she was asking him, why aren't you looking for your sister? So I thought the obvious answer would be, well, I'm the one to stay home in case she comes back home. But he doesn't say that. He's already resigned to the fact that she's gone.
Right.
So because of, like you said, regarding his, beliefs and, immediately going that way. But I think it just really says a lot. And it also says a lot about Jill's character and how mature she is, which is what Nora calls her later in the episode. But in terms of her saying that he saved her, and I believe it's a reference to the sink, and there's a subtle people can be saved in different ways aspect. And I think Jill's been around enough cults and religions and all that to realize, hey, this isn't helping people. You actually came over here, fixed my sink. Thank you for saving me. That's how you helped me.
All right.
That's a nice exposition. I do like your emphasis on the action as opposed to the word or the concept or ideology, right?
Right.
I did like how you tied that into Jill's experience with Guilty Remnant, right?
Right.
Mhm.
And last week when we saw with Off Ramp.
And her brother.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it really points out, well, this is for afterwards. I have some choice words about Evie about this part later.
Anyways, but that was my big thing. I just, I really, that spoke to me a little bit, knowing the overarching theme of the show, and everybody in this world is just grasping onto beliefs as quick as they can to find reasons and answers. And Jill's steady with her, "Thank you for saving me." It could come across sarcastic or whatever, but I think she's above that kind of right now. When Kevin goes off sleepwalking and misses his cigarettes, she says, "Well, you may have smoked them all while you were sleepwalking." I mean, but even then, that's not super like F you sarcastic. It's just kind of like a statement, more of a blunt statement.
Well, she's definitely happier since she got away from her mom.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We haven't bashed Lori yet, so there's a subtle. Well, I wasn't being subtle. I was being honest. I do like that. Well, then they find out they pulled a palm print off the driver's side window, and Kevin's like, "Where's Nora? I need help." Right?
It's her hand. Get her.
And then all the animals, the people, running to scoop up what's left of the water.
Yeah.
And
Screw the fish. Screw the fish.
And Erica says,
"It's only water."
"Let them go. It's only water."
All right. Are you
Is
guys
Ethan-
all seeing Ethan breaking
Yeah.
up?
Yes.
Okay, I thought it was just me. Yes, Ethan.
Yeah.
I'm breaking up.
Yeah.
Yes,
Breaking up.
breaking
Yep.
up.
All right. So they scoop up the water and then
Right. And Erica says that she says, "Just let him go." She said, "It's only water,"
right.
Yeah.
which is like, I'm sure Ethan's going to say, and I hate to take these words from him, but he's probably going to say something, like, because I mean, I thought that it shows a lot about where Erica's head's at right now.
Right.
She's like, "It's only water. This place isn't special. Nothing's good about it.
Right.
Whatever," And that's kind of the thoughts of a lot of the family members, besides Michael anyway, maybe.
Yeah, Michael believes it's special.
Because John's just like, nothing special happens in Miracle later or whatever.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like you would think that so they're actually from there originally. They lived through the hype. They benefited from the hype. Maybe for a while even believed some of the hype, but they're all past it.
Yeah.
Now, did it stop when John came back? Was John the guy that just said he goes because he said nothing special happens here? He was he was the guy that. Anyway, he was the negative. He was the guy that said he's burning down houses.
Right.
He's trying to chase these people away. Did it stop?
As Ethan said, I mean that like they basically created almost like almost like organized crime unit.
Right.
But I would say within the family, you're probably right. That's probably like where like there was probably the downward slope in terms of, what Erica is saying, it's only water, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, they probably all realize that they benefit from it still, but, they weren't as caught up in the whole thing, in the fervor. So, all right. Then what happens next?
Yeah. She goes to Nora, goes to the gas station and Virgil stops.
But first we have Kevin and Nora because Kevin goes, there's Ethan back. Where'd he go?
He's got a weak connection.
Just kidding. Multiple departures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, so I like the scene because Nora just gets in the trucks and she's going.
Yeah.
Kevin still has to find her phone. I'm like, and he goes, "Are we okay?" Yeah, we're okay. And then he goes, "Love you." I goes, "I love you." And she drives away. I'm thinking, okay, if we're okay, why are you driving away? Because I have no other way to get home. And she's probably, her comment would have been back, well, you came here before on foot.
Right.
Yeah, true.
But I thought it was a fun scene. But then she goes to the convenience store and Goat Boy's there. What's his name?
Ethan would know, but we'll just pretend like he said the answer and we move on.
Where?
The convenience store, the guy with the goat comes in.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like Jimmy or something like that.
Yeah.
Jerry, I think.
But why was there was stuff still on the ground from the night before? I mean, it was just a couple of things. She couldn't have picked them up.
Or did the goat? I thought the goat already walked through there and knocked stuff over.
I thought it was because of the earthquake.
Oh, yeah. And doesn't Nora say from last night or something?
Yeah, and she goes, yes.
She's probably in this new world, who cares? The bag of chips can just lay there for a few days.
I do like you, Caleb. You're drawing a through line from the kids in the Maplewood in season 1 acting out to the senior citizen convenience store attendant not giving 2 Fs.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just going to tell you, if I see bags of chips on the ground, think, okay, they're already smashed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just not a selling point. It's just not
Yeah.
what I'm looking for. But then she does meet Virgil, and Virgil starts talking to her, and the woman says, Virgil! He's not. I thought he was coming back. Virgil, I've told you about this before. Get out. She doesn't want
Nora.
Virgil's.
Yeah, he says, I'm sorry for your loss. Just
Yeah.
out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he did the same
nowhere.
thing. That he said he could tell Kevin, I can fix your problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, doesn't Virgil say to Nora, "Give my regards to your boyfriend"?
Yeah.
Okay.
He says that to Nora. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he says a few things to Nora before he gets thrown out, and he also basically says, "Put her food on my tab," right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because isn't Nora short on cash?
Yeah, she forgot her wallet, and he's like, "I'll pay," and it was like the big bottle of alcohol and a big carton of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I just saw Ethan blink. What do you think on the subject, Ethan?
Cigarettes.
Oh God.
Can you guys hear me, or is it bad?
You know what? It's like Garvey Sr. in International Assassin right now.
You said cigarettes are, and we don't know if you think they're good or bad.
Yeah, are they good for you?
They're great.
The Surgeon General would disagree with you.
Can you guys hear me? Seriously, or is it really bad?
Yes.
No, it's
now,
good.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So, any thoughts? We're on the scene where Virgil meets Nora.
I was my main thought was I thought Nora had higher hopes for her than being a wild turkey girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought she was going to be a bit up the shelf. You know what I mean?
Well, she's had a bad day.
Yep.
Why don't you try it without the video?
Yeah.
Just do the audio.
And put the image of the whenever you're pouty, the image of the Kevin in the white
Yeah.
tux. There you go.
There
Perfect.
you go.
All right. So say that thing about Wild Turkey Girl again.
Oh, it's really bad. Maybe I should just reboot while you guys do this and come back.
All right, sounds good. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
All right, so Nora just had her Virgil experience. If Ethan was here, he'd be able to tell us about how Virgil was able to do all sorts of con man tricks that Ethan knows about from his magician brother, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where he has the insight.
Yeah, exactly.
So we have to talk about the funniest scene of the episode, which is
Kevin
the
looking
next
for his
scene.
phone. Kevin looking for his phone,
And Patty,
saying you're warm, you're cold, you're cold, and he doesn't want to talk to her. He doesn't want to acknowledge her. So he's never said a word to her. Right at this point, he's never said anything to her. He's just trying to ignore her. And Patty doesn't give up. But Patty knew where the phone was at.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, I think she's part of his subconscious, basically,
Right.
and so he knows on some level where it's at. If you want to look at it that way, but
I mean, I'm looking at it fully as his subconscious because it's almost like, but it could be kind of like it's more like he's imagining if Patty was there, what would she say, right?
yeah,
And it's like she would say stuff like warmer, and then if he didn't find the phone, he found the phone, so she said bingo. But if she didn't find the phone, she would say something like, "Why are you listening to me, Kevin? You should just use your eyes. It's over there," right? And then the phone would be somewhere totally different, right?
Was the phone worth getting back at that point?
yeah. I mean, I think it really well. No,
Oh,
actually,
yeah, because it's the crime scene, right? You don't.
I know,
want
I know it's a crime scene, but he could have said he was there, like Nora.
he had already went down there. So I was kind of like you, Jack. I was like, why? He knows it's probably going to be found, but like he was there hunting the whole time, searching.
So, yeah, I lost my phone. Of course, you never want to give somebody a reason to doubt what you're saying either, right? But the phone, there's no way that phone's working again, is it? I don't care how much rice how many bags of rice you put it in. That phone's not working.
Well, you should ask Jay. Doesn't he have some specialty in this stuff?
No.
Okay.
But I just love how she plays this like, oh, you're hot, oh, you're cold. And it's just like there's these sexual undertones. And then she's like, oh, you're on goddamn fire, Kevin. And I couldn't.
But I remember watching this the first time around because they did such a good job with this scene, like you said. With the whole time with Patty, we're going, okay, is part of his subconscious. Is it what's going on? Because she tells Kevin, "Don't get in the car," before we even see a car.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's now maybe he heard it and we didn't hear it.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking at the time, I go, okay, how would he know there's a car coming when it wasn't coming yet?
Right. And it's like they do. I mean, the fact that they have her continue wearing the white outfit, right?
Right.
It really messes with your mind in terms of thinking like maybe the people in the first season that were the guilty remnants really thought they were angels, right?
Right.
So and it's
Angel's a little stretch there.
But it's like really like again like using the whole cartoon analogy of the devil on the shoulder, right?
Right.
Except in this case, the devil on the shoulder is dressed all in white, just to make things even more twisted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I said, they just did a fantastic job of kind of messing with our minds. Okay, what's going on with Patty, especially with that scene with the car? But it can be explained because we couldn't hear it, but Kevin probably could hear the car coming up. Maybe.
True.
Because it's a quiet area. There's no anyone who's been in the wilderness or out in the middle of nowhere, you can hear a lot further than you can in the city. It's John. John shows up, probably the last person Kevin wants to see.
I like how, before that, Patty starts to sing "Never Gonna Give You Up" as if like, I'm not going anywhere.
Never gonna give you up.
Most importantly, like, I mean, it really is like, again, like it's almost like his subconsciousness is trolling him, right? Because at that point in time, that was already pretty much meme type culture, right? About being rickrolled, right?
Yeah,
And that
probably
was,
around
I
that
mean,
time.
wasn't part of the whole like that song "Never Gonna." I forgot how the lyrics go, but that
Let
was
you down.
yeah, that was like one of those things that you would send somebody a link to mock them, like in terms of like, here, click at this really interesting link, like this is breaking news here.
It's what's it, Rickrolled.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Rickrolled, right?
Yeah.
So that the fact that his own subconsciousness is Rickrolling him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where it became the song is not it. It's funny how being Rickrolled is more than what it's more known than the song.
Well, exactly, because the original, I mean, the guy who wrote it was what, Rick Astley, I think was his name, right?
Yeah.
There's a song that came out in the mid 80s, right?
Randy says Rimroll. I thought it was Rickroll.
No, it's Rickrolled. It's Rimroll.
I go, we're going a different direction here.
So, but yeah, I mean, being Rickrolled is because you click on the link and it's Rick Astley singing that song, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, and again, it's like we talk about the tonal difference between season 1 and season 2. In the season 1 rewatch, I noticed some of the humor, but here they're much more showing and telling, Caleb. Like they're telling you when the scene is supposed to be funny, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But you know, Patty does tell that whole story about her ex-husband, and you don't need to see any of that to picture every bit of that, every small detail.
Yeah.
Do you not?
We're not there yet, but
I know, but like.
But I was thinking, can we cue that song up when Ethan comes back? If he comes back.
We should be like, you're real close now, Ethan. You're getting real close to coming on the show.
He's like, but in Ethan's case, as he's finding the buttons on the back of his router to reboot, so imagining Patty, it's Eckhart dressed all in white on his shoulder.
As soon as he pops up, we need to be like, warmer. Oh, you're on goddamn fire, Ethan.
There you go. I understand the frustration. I've been here where you get bounced off and it's like you can't get back on, but
yeah.
I mean, especially for Ethan. I mean, he lives and dies for the Leftovers.
I know.
Yeah.
But there he is.
There he is.
You're on hot.
Warmer.
We're gonna let you
Warmer.
down. We're gonna run around and salute you.
You're on fire, Ethan.
How's it going? Have I missed anything?
Oh no!
Oh man.
Is it so really bad?
Yeah, the screen is frozen and the audio is choppy.
I try it without the video. You might have better success.
How about that? Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yeah, it is better.
Yeah.
Great. I got new internet today, by the way.
Oh, did you?
Oh no!
Yeah. So
what did you get so we can let people know not to get it?
Comcast.
Comcast.
Okay.
All right. There goes our sponsor from Comcast.
Isn't that Spectrum? No, that's Charter, right? Or used to be Charter. Yeah.
So I'm figuring out alternative. I'm listening.
All right.
I thought you had AOL dial-up.
We're at the part where Patty tells Kevin to get in the car with John.
Not to get in the car.
But not to get in the car.
Yeah, that's a good part. That's a good part of a good show.
Yeah, it is a good part of a good show. But I like how Kevin goes, Nora's supposed to come around and pick me up. Get in the car, Kevin.
Yeah.
Just get in, Kevin.
Who's going to say no to John, right?
Yeah. I mean, because John's crazy, right?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he drinks he's extra upset and he starts drinking because his daughter is missing. Right?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, he had a beer because Kevin asked, "What's that?" It's a present. Get for my daughter. She's gone. Want a beer? And then Kevin, for the first time in the show, turns down alcohol.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice point. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because then the guy who drinks all the time doesn't drink, and then John, who supposedly doesn't drink, is drinking. And I get it. Your daughter's missing. It's been a stressful day. I'm not saying alcohol is the answer, but I can understand why he would have a beer.
And Nora just thought Kevin departed, so that's why she turned to alcohol too.
But there's this wonderful dynamic in the scene where Kevin obviously is scared that he's going to slip up any second, right? And John is so gruff, and Kevin thinks that like John is suspecting him because he's afraid of outsiders, right?
Right.
But John's mind is somewhere totally different, and more as we learned that it's probably like he's telling him to get in because he's not sure right now who among the people in his town he can trust.
Right.
As this is going to go. So it's such a great like tension that is between these two characters on this entire drive.
Yes.
Well, I like when John asked, "Did you feel the earthquake?" And Kevin's, "Huh? The earthquake?" Didn't he say he slept through it?
Yeah.
I think he said he was cleaning a gutter.
Yeah, that could be it. Too. What do you think, Ethan? Can you do Morse code?
With the image.
We're gonna have to take out some departure insurance on if we all split in, we may get a pretty big payout. Okay.
Yeah. Well, should we share with Ethan's family? Maybe
they can.
The
take
son
out
is
their
pretty
own.
cool, but
Okay.
I don't know about the rest of it.
But I like him.
If he departs during the show, then
Yeah, that's it. What?
What'd you say? What's going on?
you departed, and we got insurance on you. So, bye.
All right, Ethan, the connection's really bad.
Yeah, it's just not working, bud. Try. Can you try just calling in? Click on the link and just not put the video up.
Can you do it from your phone, like a different device?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm working on that right now. Keep talking.
I can't hear you at all.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, then John is driving, and Kevin goes, "Hey, that's where we live down there." Yeah, we're not going there. So John drives to the checkpoint, and they're like, "Oh, John, hey, we're here for you." And Kevin's like, "Going, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here." And then John tells Kevin when he drives across the bridge. And John tells Kevin, "You paid $3 million for a house to feel safe."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I didn't." No, he didn't say it, but yeah, but he's spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you paid $3 million to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, John's like going, "My daughter disappeared." So, John doesn't believe there's any miracle in miracle, right?
Right.
Right. So how safe can it be?
Right. And then John tells Kevin to stay in the truck. And who was he talking to? Just a group of people, or was that the part of his fire?
Yeah, that was the interesting thing, because that's when I started developing the theory I mentioned before, that the people from the fire brigade are trying to stop him from where he's going. Yeah. So it feels like he probably can't rely on those people, right? What's in the
Randy, the chat says Ethan paid $3 million for his internet.
That's right, in an auction.
I think his internet departed.
That's pretty good.
Poor Ethan.
So yeah, it's interesting because you would think that if those guys really wanted to stop him, they could have.
Right.
But
they're afraid of him too, right?
Yeah, but that was one of the few things in the entire series that was not done well. They could have done it maybe one person coming up and trying to stop him, and then John just physically shoves him to the ground or something like that. That would have driven home the same point.
Right. Why have 5 or 6 there that could obviously sit on him and make him not go anywhere and hurt anybody?
Yeah, because they know he was going to see Isaac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't want him to go back to jail, right?
Right.
They didn't want him to kill the guy, right?
Right. He already burned down his house.
Yeah, but it's an interesting point, because it's this is and as the scene evolves, this is where I realize okay, he's grabbing Kevin because he feels like he has some sort of power position over Kevin that is even more there's even more of a power disparity between them than there is between John and the people in the fire department.
Right.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of like, this is my town, my rules. I run it. You can either be on my good side or bad side. Get in the car.
Right. Exactly. And of course, Kevin doesn't want to make waves with him because he has something maybe to feel guilty about because he was at the scene.
Right.
So he doesn't want him. Kevin doesn't want John killing anyone on account of him. Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because, Patty, had said that he had inadvertently pinned this on someone.
Right.
So
you got lucky.
Yeah.
But they get to the motel. John grabs a baseball bat, and Kevin goes, "Hey, this is crazy. This is crazy. I'm a cop.
Right.
Let me question him. I'll get the answers for you. You don't want to do this. You're not in the right frame of mind. I'll do it. What room is he in?" Of course, John gives him the wrong room.
It's actually interesting though that you have to think John gets this information that Kevin used to be a cop.
Yeah.
And you wonder if that actually changed, if John changed his tactic on the fly.
Yeah.
In the sense that it might have been if he hadn't known that he was a cop, he'd be like, all right, you need to help me apprehend this person. He might have been like, you need to help me apprehend this person. I think this guy knows where my daughter is, right?
Right. But
instead he just tells him, go to that other room.
And another funny scene where Patty is talking to Kevin the whole way he's walking to the thing. And she tells him the story about her husband. And I think this is what you were alluding to earlier, Ethan. She goes, yeah, I go in the room and she's half naked or stark naked, whatever she said. And you know what she's doing, Kevin? She's taking a shit on him, Kevin. Not once in 17 years did I ever take a shit on my husband.
Kevin.
Or did he take a shit on me? Kevin.
I know everyone has fetishes, but that's just not one of mine. But I just thought it was a funny scene because, Kevin, because it must have been something that Lori told Kevin. So Lori is breaking her confidentiality, right? Because the only way Kevin would know this is if Lori told him that.
The counter argument is he's just imagining her telling him this now, and it's just completely just Kevin just imagining it.
But isn't that why she put the bag of shit on the doorstep?
I think that wasn't that what Lori suggested that.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But
I want to believe that Lori broke her oath.
Yeah, I would like to too, because Jack, you bash to forget, don't you?
You
bash to remember. I messed it up.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But I just want to believe. But then Kevin hears shouting. And he goes, "Damn it!" He realizes that John gave him the wrong room.
Right.
And by the time he gets there, he hears a shot, and Kevin grabs John, and John's been shot by Isaac.
Yep. Yes.
Anyway, so I got distracted by something in the chat. But I like that Kevin did pull John out. We got to get you to, and Isaac said, "Just get out of here. I'll shoot you again. You burned down my house." And I kind of understand Isaac's. He's got to protect himself. He knows John has already burned down his house. He probably knows that John, he probably knows the situation with John's daughter. Mm-hmm. So how did John know he was there?
I think he found that out from the fire brigade people.
Okay.
There's only so many places to go. Also,
if you really want to stop John from going after Isaac, you don't tell John where Isaac is at.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It was kind of weird. I think that's where he got the information, and they were kind of like, "Look, we'll take care of this. Don't go there." but they obviously didn't think it through completely.
Well, could it have been the park rangers?
Maybe, but I'm assuming they don't get that involved in the affairs of the of the town as much.
Well, what I don't understand,
All right,
maybe.
say something, Ethan.
How about now?
Nope.
No.
How about now? I love the background though.
Yeah, isn't that the same place where Eichhoff lives?
Yeah.
I was going to say that in that scene, Isaac says something to the effect of that there's not a person more dangerous than a person who doesn't believe in anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that's really interesting because I don't agree with that. It's kind of
you're pretty dangerous, Caleb.
yeah. So it was really odd to me because what is John supposed to believe? I mean, honestly, what is he supposed to believe? From his standpoint, just a few days ago, this man told him something bad was going to happen.
Exactly.
He's following anything that could make sense.
Right.
So, do you know where my daughter is? Obviously, he shouldn't have done what he did. But I just feel like when Isaac said, that John was so dangerous, it's like, I don't really get that.
I kind of put that in the same category as that we are the X number protected, right? Like that there are those moments where people of faith cast dispersions at people who don't believe, right?
Yeah.
So,
and he's basically well, John is just acting out because he doesn't believe in Jesus or whatever, whatever it is that Isaac believes in.
I thought it was more that he didn't believe in Isaac.
Right. Yeah. Whatever he's doing with the palms, I'm not sure if that's what spirituality related that is, but yeah.
Which comes back to the palm print on the car.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. You got your points back, Jack.
Thank you. It was a long way, and then Nora comes home, goes to. First we go. Kevin wants to take John to a hospital. No hospital. Why can't he go to a hospital?
Isn't he under
house arrest? Maybe?
No, I would say there's a chance that if he goes to hospital, that there might be then some sort of an
investigation,
right? And that could bring up a whole bunch of other stuff, right?
All right, okay.
And he's already been to jail, so
Well, call Erica, it says.
Yeah.
And then Nora comes home. She's looking for a glass, and she goes, "You want to have a drink? You're 18, right? 17.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And Nora asked Jill why Kevin sleepwalks. And I think we talked about it before, but Jill gave a great answer. And Ro makes a good point. He wouldn't be able to look for Evie if he went to the hospital.
Okay. Also, when Nora comes home, Jill says that she made up a story for Lily, and Nora said, "Did it have a happy ending?" And Jill was like, "Well, what kind of a effed up person do you think I am?"
Yeah.
And so that also says stuff about Nora, she's really trying to find her happy ending. She thought it was just ripped from her again. Later, right. She goes to see Matt to, verify this place is going to give her happy ending. So it just feels like that was a little don't be telling Lily anything, negative. We're all peace in this house.
Right. But then Nora tells a story to Jill about her job and how a woman did file a claim because her husband departed, allegedly, and all this stuff. And he was very smart. But then she found the bastard or the asshole. He was in Puerto Rico.
Yep.
So fraud.
And by the way, I'm inverting your show but not tell, and tell but not show here, which is actually, in some ways, it's like the other end of the spectrum, right? So we're so used to being shown things, and it's complex and nuanced, and we have to draw our own conclusions.
Right.
But we have these wonderful moments in the show where, and it's usually the individual characters having some sort of a soliloquy. like I'm thinking about the way that Patty was talking in the diner, but the way that Nora tells this story here, like,
Well, it's great acting, yeah.
it's great acting, it's great delivery, and it's a great way to peer into these characters by the characters telling us, the viewers and the other characters in the show, what is important to them.
Right. There was no flashback. It's just all storytelling.
So it's, yeah, you're right. It is like, you're right. It's a flashback, but it's a way to do it that is might be even more effective, because it's like it's all the attention just on the person telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Welcome back, Ethan.
Hi.
Let's see if it
We
works.
can hear you.
We need to do a dance.
Kind of. But she's finished up on October 14th, 3 years ago. The Ark took all the animals it needed.
Why in God's name would it take on anymore?
Right. So she wants to believe that it's never going to happen again.
Yeah, she's just like refusing to even think that that's an option, because her world was just upside down. You know, so she just is like, there's no way that can happen again.
Yeah. And then Kevin gets John to Erica, and then he's about ready to leave, and then she goes, "No, you stay here." No, okay. And then I thought it was nice that John was holding the present that Evie got him.
Mm-hmm.
As Erica takes it out of his hand. He doesn't want the shot. He wants to be awake for it. And she goes, okay. And then she gives him the shot. And he's kind of loopy.
Did I miss anything?
No. Are you back? Are you back?
I don't know. Can you guys hear me and see me?
You're
so
actually
far, so good.
So far, I'm not going to even move you.
Don't move me. Don't move me.
You're going to stay in the same spot.
Yeah.
We're at the part where Kevin is being, not Kevin, John is being operated on by his wife.
We do have to inform you that all of your points departed when you left, and they didn't come back.
But did we miss my favorite part where Patty was talking to Kevin?
Oh yeah, but
Yeah.
if you want to put something in there, since you've been struggling to get back on, go ahead. And since you didn't buy point insurance, like Caleb said, all your points are gone.
Did anyone point out when Patty said that? Oh wait, no, that's coming up later. Never mind.
You better go fast.
No, because
You're getting a little blurry.
Oh, okay. No, we'll move on. I'll wait till later.
Matt is talking to Mary, and this was another great scene. Nora walks in and asks Matt, "Is this place real?"
Right.
And he tells Nora, their first night there, Mary woke up.
Mm-hmm.
And for the very first night, they were there, they talked for hours. They cuddled, they snuggled, they cried, they laughed. He was happy. And when she woke up, oh wait, we skipped the part? No, when he woke up, she was back to being Mary we see today. Of course, later on we learned there was more to it than that, but I mean, you can see the love that Matt has for his wife,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he just cares so much about his wife. But it had to be, but he has such faith, I guess. But it had to be heartbreaking. You know, your wife comes out of the state she's in. She's his wife again, as he knows her, and he has her until they go to sleep, and he wakes up. Almost like you got to be thinking, would you want to go to sleep? Because but he has no guilt. He just has, not that he has any guilt to be guilty about, but I just thought it was a great scene.
Well, I like the part that, like, okay, so let's take a step back. With Leftovers, it's always, something that seems truthful is usually maybe 80% true.
Right.
And he could read Nora's searching for some sort of a sign, something to believe in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he told her this story. Now, we'll never know how much of what he described was true or exaggerated, or how much of it he imagined, right?
Well, I hope it's true.
Even though we know what happens in the next episode, right?
Right.
But it does kind of, the problem with knowing Matt and rewatching this, is that whenever Matt goes into a longer soliloquy like this, or focuses on something, you always get that feeling like he's attaching himself onto something that he thinks is miraculous, right?
Right.
Because he wants to be part of a miracle. And so it's always disturbing like that. Like in the season 1, he wanted to be part of the outing of all these sinners, right?
Right.
Now in season 2, he wants to be part of the miracle of Miracle, Texas, right?
As we saw when he was praying with the 9,261 survivors.
And then in series 3, we know what he attaches himself to, right?
Right.
Right.
So that's why, like, when I watch a scene like this, it's nice, but it's not, it's not 100% altruistic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's already, before Nora walks in, or as she walks in, he's talking to Mary, basically to himself, and is saying, this is another departure, and I have the expertise to be able to help them, and just like it's insane. And I think Nora's question of, is this place real? And his response of, he never wondered if it was real after the first night there, But I just have trouble. This is the storyline that I would say in season 2 weakens it. And I think that, are we to believe Matt at this point? It just seems a little far-fetched, and we know how he goes. I know we understand we have the next episode. But
I want to believe him, because if it's not true,
right, of course,
then it's
right.
It's not a comfortable thing.
All right, Ethan, I hope your mic works. I need your input on this scene.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, you just want me to say what? Well, I mean, we can't really judge till we see the next episode, right? I mean, because the next episode even leaves us with a bigger question than now. Because right now, on the face value of it, I believe Matt. But they smash that to bits in the first 5 minutes of the next episode.
Yeah.
And they make it really, really gray and really, really blurry about, what is going on with Matt and Mary.
Yeah.
And I feel like because they make it, is it or isn't, they do damage to that character, because once you think, are they capable of that, it's very hard to make that character be likable again.
Right.
I think there's so much to say about it next week. My defense of that, my counter of that should probably come next week.
All right, so let's do this. Let's table this Matt discussion, and we won't cast any stones until next week.
All right. That sounds like a good deal. Jill returns the wrench to Michael. They're talking back and forth. Michael asks, she asks, what's the orange sticker? We have one in our house. And that was a verification that nobody from that house departed, right?
Yeah.
Which comes into play later on in the episode. Michael's talking and he cries. He gets emotional.
Yeah.
And Jill gives him a hug.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great scene. Then we go back to Erica and John. Erica gets the bullet out. And then Kevin and Erica talking about what John is doing. And I think, does Erica care what John's doing? Does she approve of it, or is she?
Well, she sees that it's taking a turn for the worse, and it's turned into somebody might have done something to their daughter because of it. And while she is sympathetic to him in his time of need, because she knows he's hurting right now, trying to figure out what happened, I don't think she can deny the fact that it might be everything that she's been complicit in is starting to turn around.
Right.
Yeah.
So she shares some blame. She thinks.
I think she thinks.
Okay. Let's see. And I think she says there are no miracles in Miracle. Okay.
No, doesn't Kevin say that? And then she goes, "Oh, you heard the speech."
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Because John said that to him earlier.
Okay, that's right. Then Kevin walks out, and Patty says, you know, I like the Murphys.
Before we get into it, let's just say like this is one of my favorite scenes almost of all time.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got back for it.
Yeah.
And then Patty's going on and on and on and on. And finally, Kevin turned around, shut the F up.
Mm-hmm.
Just screams it. And then Kevin goes, I love my family. And then Patty goes, well, why were you trying to kill yourself? And then it's going back and forth. And he makes good. And I thought that the acting in this was fantastic. But then Patty says, they're going back and forth. You know, you tied your foot to a cinder block. You put the rope around it. You threw it into the water. And this grace of God, this miracle happens. And it's the only reason you're alive. He's, but I love my family.
Well, one of the things she's saying before he blows up is she brings up the fact that it's her house, it's her money, it's her decision. That must be pretty emasculating.
Yeah.
Right. And this is kind of like the same. She's putting on her stuff with Neil because this is what she was complaining about, talking about in her session with Lori.
But also it wasn't the same situation Kevin was in with Lori.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's the exact same situation all over. The other one, the other person in the relationship makes the money. So no matter how good they are about sharing it or saying it's for all of them, the other person can't help but.
And then we see Kevin, he's living in his dad's house.
Mm-hmm. Because she sold the thing for the GR because it was her house to sell.
So Kevin, basically it's just a mooch, right?
Well, I don't know if Kevin thinks he's a mooch, but Patty thought she was a mooch.
Right.
And all that stuff that Kevin probably heard in a therapy session is coming back now, I think. And in his mind, maybe he thinks it was pretty emasculating for her to make that decision, buy the house, not ask him about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
But he was upset by it.
Certainly.
He was upset by it because that's when Jill said, look, she's doing it because she wants to feel safe.
Right.
Which is what John said to him earlier in this episode.
I got something on that for later. I missed a big one. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Patty says, aren't you going to ask me what happened to the girls?
He doesn't ask because he doesn't want to. He doesn't trust his own mind.
No.
If his mind says that you killed them, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to know that, right?
He has no idea. And this is another scene where they kind of are playing with our heads again. Is Patty there? Can other people see Patty? Because Moses asked Kevin, who's your friend?
Yeah, it's great ambiguity.
Yeah. Now, it could be, well, he just sees Kevin talking to himself.
Right.
And he's just being a smartass.
Right.
Or can he see Patty? At this point, we don't know.
Yeah.
Which led us to, I mean, it's great for theories and stuff like that. I remember at the time, it's like, is Patty real? Can other people see Patty is what basically what I was getting at. Go ahead. I can't read my writing.
So, I mean, I guess we can get into that. I mean, this is kind of after stuff, but.
Oh, I got chills are multiplying.
Yeah.
Well, Patty tells him that they vanished. All the girls.
And then she sings "I'm Never Gonna Give You Up" but she rickrolls him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she did rickroll him.
Yeah.
We should have talked about that earlier.
Did you talk about that earlier?
No.
Yeah, when it happened.
It happened here too, by the way. So it happened twice. It happened there, and now it's happening here.
Oh, they go straight from that into I got chills, they're multiplying?
Yes.
Oh, I missed that.
She walks away. She says, the girls, they poof, they vanished. Mama Bear's right. Nothing's going to be the same. We're never going to give you up. And then it goes right. No, we got chills are multiplying.
I got you.
Which is an amazing cover of a Grease song.
And then here comes the scene that disturbed me more than anything. Kevin comes home, takes his clothes off. Now he's been in that swamp. I mean, he was in the swamp, he's in the water, he's in the mud, he's in the growth, he's carrying John's blood all over the place. I mean, he's basically the last 24 hours, he must stink. I mean, he must be really bad. He gets in bed without taking a shower.
I thought he
Well,
showered at the beginning of the
Yeah,
episode.
he did
'cause
shower at the beginning.
Patty was
Okay, but
dying
he-
on him.
But he was still at the but he's still doing the search and stuff. And he still had the blood from John. He was a mess. Let's face it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, I know he looks good, but he's still a mess, and he's got a smell.
Yeah.
Right? Is it just me? And he got in bed. I was like, oh, that's gross. And then Nora handcuffs him. Then they cuddle. I'm like, geez, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, maybe put some garlic under your nose or something. He had to stink. I mean, am I being too critical here?
I mean, I think we need to focus on like his, rigid muscles instead of.
I said I get that, but again, it's stink is stink. I mean,
At that point, if you miss someone so much, you just want them to be there. You don't care if they've showered or not.
Right.
okay, I've never missed anybody that much.
Call emotions, Jack. Call emotions, Jack. Get some.
They go to sleep, but then Nora opens her eyes, and she asks Kevin, "Will they ever find those girls?" Kevin says, "I don't think so." And then we go. Jill wakes up, looks out the window, and Michael is scraping the orange sticker off the house because he believes
She departed.
And that's the end of the episode. Fantastic episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything else we got?
Just real quick, going back that let's see, Erica, when she's talking to Kevin, and she says that Michael and Evie are twins. She's 2 months older. She was born early. And then she's like, Erica says people are saying something bad happened and that Evie's playing a joke and giggling in the woods, that no one would hurt Evie, that she would never hurt anyone, and that she was better than that, and that she was exceptional. And she said, exceptional, just like this town. And then that's when she said things are going to change now. And I think that's really interesting because, she's right.
Yeah, she is.
And
right.
she's starting to be like, if not already, if we're hitting the spoiler territory, then we know
we can go spoilers here.
Then we know that Erica had plans to leave as well. So in her mind, she's probably thinking, they had no clue I was going to leave. How much do you really know a person? Was she an exceptional person? Yeah. She's going over all the things ever said about Evie, and now she's second guessing. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, I like the whole thing about being born. She was born 2 months before Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan,
In the way of spoilers, it's one of my favorite speech is by Patty. This isn't a big mystery. I was right there with you. You walked out of the house in the middle of the night and you found a rope and a cinder block and you tied it to your ankle and you threw it in the goddamn lake. Let's face it, Kevin, there were people who tried to commit suicide for attention and then those people who really want to fucking die like me and you. I watched you do it and you did not hesitate, my friend, plunk right into the wet abyss. And if not for the act of divine intervention, you'd be gone. I'm sorry, Kevin, but those are not the actions of a man who wants to lose his family. We know that didn't happen. We know Kevin went to Virgil's before he did that.
right.
And then, so we know that Patty is an unreliable narrator of the highest degree.
Right.
Well, Kevin has blocked that out
Yeah.
for keep the story going too.
But just for us to know, reminder that right now Patty's lying with every breath she takes.
Right. Or just partial truths, right?
I choose to believe the Neil poop story because it's funny. I think
That's
she's
something-
being truthful.
But I think that's something, and you missed my favorite part. I was not here. They basically say it's because he heard Lori talk about it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So Caleb asked me to look for my favorite lines to see if I would get his line. I didn't, but I made some of my favorite lines. And you guys already went over this. Sudden departure was a one-time only event. The flood happened 3 years ago on October 14th. The Ark took on all the animals it needed. Why in God's name would it take any more? Pretty sure we can all agree. You let me know if you talked about it, that Nora is saying this with her full voice, but she believes it could happen at any second. In
Mhm.
fact,
Oh, yeah.
at any second.
Well, she showed
Sadly.
that. She showed that in the beginning.
Yeah. And my favorite connection, I sent you guys a video. I don't know if you watched it. It was of the Who's 1989 performance of Baba O'Reilly. And at the beginning, over the amazing synth track, Pete Townsend says, "Let's just pretend we're in a stadium. You've been lining up for 6 weeks to get your ticket. Your money is worthless. All you want is a T-shirt." That's what this song is all about. And so John says, "These fucking people wait for weeks to get in for 10 hours just so they can buy a T-shirt."
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Kevin says, "I think they're looking for more than a T-shirt." He says, "Yeah, well, what are you looking for?" Well, their money is worthless, just like Nora's.
Yeah.
They want to be safe.
Yeah.
And that's it for me.
So the only other thing I had was, do we believe? What are the odds that an earthquake happens the same exact night Evie and her friends choose to do what they do? It's storytelling. Is it a coincidence? What's happening? Thoughts?
I think it's storytelling coincidence. I think that has to happen occasionally in a Damon Lindelof type show.
Well, it happens. It happens a lot, right? Because someone mentions fracking in the first episode, right? So they think it's because of fracking, but we see in the very first episode, the cave woman episode that, or it's the first episode, that it happens all the time, right?
True.
Yeah,
like that area is known for having earthquakes.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, Jack, because that way they, in that preamble, they're really equating earthquakes with departure, right?
Right.
So they are kind of gearing us in that direction. Now, we're in spoiler territory, Ethan, right? Do they ever explain how the water disappeared?
There have been threads that I only found before doing this rewatch where a couple people have said that they've taken the red herring that was the C4 later on the bridge.
Okay.
And that it was put by them under the lake, but I don't buy that.
Well, you see in the dry lake bed, you see a drain cover.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. So that could have been, like you said, it could have been blown up.
Well, isn't there like a big crack from the earthquake?
No, all you see is like the mud.
Yeah.
Oh.
That makes it look uneven, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
I would have to look again. I thought like Caleb saw like a crack, but
I thought there was like a fissure, like an earthquake would make, and that's where like the water went down, and that's why they were so worried that Evie and them were in the water,
and they got sucked into the crack.
Yeah,
because I mean, if we're thinking forward here in terms of Kevin sinking to the ground with a cinder block, we don't know how long he was down there. Then there's an earthquake, and then the water evaporates, right? That water would have to move pretty quickly.
Yeah, it would have to drain fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if it's a big crack, it could do it, but
no, I think it's one of those. I do think, I don't know. You're erring on the side of supernatural if you say that it was divine intervention with Kevin.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean.
But then, the next thing that comes to mind is like Evie and the two other girls had planned this whole thing in advance. They would have never, they definitely didn't plan around an earthquake.
No.
Right.
And we know that Evie saw Kevin about to jump. Did she actually see him jump?
I think it I think she did see him jump.
Either way, we're in a span of what? A couple of minutes.
Right.
So they're not far from the lake or whatever. So that that they felt it for sure and probably were knocked down by it or whatever, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because I would think that a normal lake would take days to drain. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I've seen a bathtub, full bathtub takes for it to drain. So it's like,
Unmute yourself, Ethan.
oh, I was like, did he
I'm
go
looking
away?
at it. I'm looking at it right now. They get out of the car. Evie, play by play. Evie has the camera. She's looking. She sees Kevin. Kevin's looking at her. He holds the cinder block. They're looking at each other. 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 This is fascinating. Close up of Kevin looking, holds the cinder block, looks away, jumps in the water. Evie says,
Shrugs her shoulders and walks away.
she's like, that's weird, but I'm a GR, so I don't care.
Yeah.
And, they leave, and then then there's an earthquakey type event, not a bomb type event.
Right.
So I can play by play the rest of the season for you if you guys like.
I think we're gonna have fun unpacking that scene once we get to it.
Of course, we don't know how long Kevin was in. He could have been in the shallow part, and when it drained, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know the total amount of time at most could have been like a few hours, right?
Right.
There's totally a Red Sea type parting in the water. So just getting sucked down a long line of splitting.
Okay.
Yep.
So what was that vent for? Just
I don't know, man. I don't work in waste management or whatever it is. So
it's like a gate, like a metal gate you see over like a sewer thing, or
maybe that's the well.
I don't know.
You'll
Like
find it at the well.
like Borat said, throw the Jew down the well so my people can be free.
Moving on.
Aren't you glad I got everything working again?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I know it's frustrating though when you get
There he is.
when you get booted. It is frustrating.
Yeah. Well, I just had to restart.
Well, I mean, especially the coincidence that it's Ethan's brand new internet, and it just screwed him. And
my brand new router just,
yeah.
Anyway, I have some questions to ask Caleb once we get off the podcast. So we should say
good.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Jack, it
I
looks
must
like
be
we're done
afraid
with
of how I'm going
Leftovers.
to answer.
All right, guys, that's all. We'll be back. We're taking next Monday off, right?
Yes.
It's
So
my
if you-
birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy
it's
birthday
Caleb.
to you and to America.
It's Caleb's birthday, so we are
Mine's
taking.
on the 5th, not the stupid 4th. Just kidding.
So we're taking the. What is next week? Monday's the 5th.
Yeah.
We're gonna take Caleb's birthday off because he doesn't work on his birthday. That's what he
No,
told us.
that's not true.
As he
It's
said,
my request. I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
he goes, I will not work on my birthday.
That's not true.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, you requested it, right, Ethan?
I
Thanks,
requested it.
guys.
I'm
in the
going
chat.
I'm going on vacation.
Okay.
See, that's the reason.
That's
Okay,
the-
we'll get some internet. But thanks for everyone joining. We'll be back on the 12th. Look how I did that math that quick. Back on the 12th with episode
Laura
number
will be
5, which is the Matt episode, right?
Yep. No room
Yes.
at the inn.
With the song that we're
Let
going to
your love
enjoy. Let your love flow.
Yep.
The
And
Emerly, the what are they called? Who are they?
Everly Brothers.
Everly
Bellamy-
Brothers.
Bellamy
Brothers.
and an appearance by Doctor Who's magic sonic screwdriver.
Ooh. All right.
And a very creepy storyline that we'll figure out what's going on with. maybe.
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.